The Fast Forward podcast is still going to be the same focus on excellence, but the difference is that we should be able to get things done quickly. I'm about time. I don't play them games. Hey, y'all. Welcome to the first episode of the rebranded podcast, the Fast Forward podcast. I'm thrilled to have you all here with me, and I'm looking forward to this new journey. I talked a little bit in the brief teaser video about the why and how things will change, but I want to give some more context into that because I think that the gravity of this moment and the relationship of even the topic that we'll be going over the next few weeks relates to my why. Dream Forward Consulting, and by extension, the Dreaming Forward podcast was my baby. It was the first company and first podcast that I started, and I had such a strong affinity to it. It grew me up in ways that I could not even imagine. For the last, I would say 2 years, though, I felt like it was maybe time for a change. And I didn't quite know what that would mean. I didn't understand all the ways that that would show up until probably about a month or so ago. And I realized that what I had trained myself to believe I could do professionally was so limiting versus what I could actually accomplish and what I feel passionate about. I am more than a trainer and even more than a coach, as I have stepped into my identity as an organizational psychologist. That has expanded my view of what's possible for me. And also, as I've done work over the last 2 years to work on the business versus just in the business, I've learned a lot more about myself than I think I would have given myself credit for. I learned that I love so much being in front of people and connecting with people, whether that is on the podcast, live and in person at conferences and events. My love for public speaking was just reignited during this time as well, as more than a trainer. And I think that gave me the idea, the seed of an idea to leverage the podcast in a different way. Another major change that has been happening to me this year is recognizing that I don't always want to be in hustle mode. In fact, I don't want to be in hustle mode at all. For most of the time that I've had Dream Forward Consultant and the Dreaming Forward podcast, I have managed a full-time job, sometimes also a part-time job or overtime at that job, grad school, and launching and scaling at least 2 companies. So the entire time, so this is almost 8 years. And that pace, while I can see the benefits of what I've accomplished in that time, that pace is exhausting. It is a lot to manage. There is so much energy that is expended trying to balance all of those different parts of my brain. Even as far as writing the book, I'm writing my dissertation at the same time while also writing client trainings and then just having to respond to emails. Those are very different voices. And I hit a major writing block at one point and could not write anything for almost a year, which is why the book took so long to come out. So it's just a lot to manage when you have all of that going on. Again, I'm proud of what I've accomplished. I love the trajectory of what I've built, but that is not the future for me. My career moving forward for me looks much more aligned. It's much more passion based and it is much more balanced as far as time. And that is something that honestly I've never been able to experience. I've been moving at the same intense, almost frenetic pace since, if I'm going to be honest, I was about 3 years old. That's when I first started a version of school in pre K. Ever since then, it was like a rocket took off and it just never stopped. And so the last 2 years with the business taking a downturn, and I had to work so hard again on the business versus in the business doing service delivery, it actually trained me to appreciate slowing down. And so the progress I've been able to make in terms of ideation, strategic development for the company, business development for the company has been shocking because I'm not just in all out grind mode. And so as an extension of that, I realized that where I see myself, my career, my companies, and all of my professional efforts going is deeper than just a dream. It's deeper than just a vision. It's action, doing. And I wanted a company name, I wanted a podcast name that reflected that. And I said, you know what? I don't want to just throw it all out though, because I did parts of it. So I did the workshopping and all of the figuring out and wordplay. And I realized that forward is it, that there is still power in the idea of moving forward. And so much of who I am as a person is forward thinking, forward motion, forward movement, progress. And so I was like, okay, we'll just call it forward. But of course, the name was taken just forward, at least in the state of Georgia. Shout out to whoever those people are. And I was like, okay, well, what should I call it? And a part of what I've been doing, so I had different company entities. And I was like, yeah, but these aren't all completely separate things. So I kind of want it under the same umbrella. And I said, this is a collective. So even though to other people, some of these projects that I'm working on or companies and ideas I have, they seem so disconnected. I see the connection. I understand how it all fits together. It is a collective in my mind. And all of the companies that are seeking to subcontract with me, who want to partner with me for mentorship, they're a part of that umbrella as well. This is a collective of thinkers and thought leaders and doers. And hence the Forward Collective group was born. So then I said, okay, well, what am I going to call the podcast? So I decided that the podcast, I was like, okay, well, I still wanted to have something with forward. And shout out to my girl, Rakita. She was like, just call it forward. Like, just keep it. And I was like, yeah, that would be cool. And I was talking to another friend that was like, maybe fast forward. And I said, I like that. I like that fast forward. And that's actually the name of an incubator program that I have too. Hence, the Fast Forward podcast was born. The Fast Forward podcast is still going to be the same focus on excellence in people, culture, and inclusion, in leadership development, and human growth. But the difference is that the expectation will progress faster. We should be able to apply things quicker. We should be able to get things done quickly. And again, this is a reflection of my life philosophy. I don't believe in dawdling. I'm about time. I don't play them games. And I want to give that same sense of purpose, direction, and pacing to you all as well. So with that being said, I was thinking about what I wanted my topic to be for September and October. And I was like, all right, this could go a number of different ways. But what came to mind right away was power. So much of the conversations that I've been having with fellow founders, other business leaders over the past 18 months, really, but especially the last 12 months, has centered around a sense of powerlessness to understand the data that is provided to us, powerlessness to get the right data to make better decisions, powerlessness about how we feel, about how we show up in the world, powerlessness with our confidence, powerlessness in being seen and feeling like we are invisible to our target markets, to our supervisors, to our colleagues. And I was like, I want to give people a sense of empowerment. And so for the first time, you are going to hear from other voices. I'm so excited about the folks that I have coming on as guests. But you are also going to get some more information from me about what it means to leverage power versus influence. I hope that you enjoy this month's topic. Again, this is going to take us through both September and October. And gonna hear from me. You're gonna hear from other folks. It's gonna be a ton of fun because I want us to navigate uncertainty, volatility, confusion, hurt, downturn, loss, with a sense of power. You can't get nothing done if you feel disempowered. Period. It's just not going to happen. And with that empowerment, it comes responsibility on our end of how to manage all of that. So I'm looking forward to these conversations. I think you're going to like them too. But more than anything, I'm just happy to introduce my new baby to y'all. It's like I got the second child now. And I'm looking forward to you getting a chance to get to know her. She is going to be amazing. And what she's going to offer to the world, and more important to you, I think you're going to really, really love it. And most of all, I hope you appreciate it. So be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Tell me down in the comments, what does it look like for you in your career, in your life, to move fast forward? Not just forward, not just making some progress, but to make progress fast. What would that mean to you? Again, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one. See y'all.